What's up guys, my name's Dante and thank you very much for watching another video. Today I wanted to start off with a question, and it's really simple. I think most people have heard it before, and it's this. Have you ever heard somebody tell you that you shouldn't care what other people think? Have you ever met someone who seems like they go through life not caring what other people think? I remember seeing that as I was growing up. I would look at people and it just seemed as though they were going through life easily. That they were able to be whoever they wanted to be, and the world wasn't giving them a problem. The world was just accepting them as they were. I didn't feel that way as I was growing up. I didn't feel that way going through life. I always felt like I had to do something a little different, always. I had to be the way the world wanted me to be. And that was causing a lot of stress. It was causing me to think living life was a job, and that I always had to be doing something different. Until I kind of went through life and started learning about the principles that I've been sharing in these videos. You see, when I started to realize that if I lived by certain principles, if I really had a loyalty to these principles and I went through life caring mostly about how I can be an honest person, be a good person, how I can help other people, more and more I was able to have that feeling of caring what other people thought about me go away. And why is that? Why does it work like that? And it's part of why I'm sharing this message, because these principles touch every part of our life. And one of the biggest freedoms I've been able to enjoy in my life is the freedom from wondering if I'm being judged, the freedom from caring what other people think. I remember being in elementary school and having my parents and my teachers tell me, "Oh, you shouldn't be worried what other people think about you." And it's such a simple thing to say, but it's much harder to understand. It's much harder to be able to feel that as being the truth. Until I started living a way I knew was right. A way I knew when I looked myself in the mirror, I knew the things I was doing was good. I'd be happy to tell people what I was doing instead of hiding some of the parts of my life, instead of putting on sort of facade of who I actually was. When I started to live according to certain principles, I was able to see that my actions were good, that I was actually helping people. And so slowly and over the years, I've been able to start to go through life, and the thought of what other people think of me rarely comes into my head, and when it does, it doesn't stay for very long, because I know it's useless compared to filling my head with thoughts of how do I live a principled life. I can tell myself now, based off of my actions, that it just does not matter. It's not that I don't care what people think about me, it's more that it becomes useless to fill my head with what people may or may not be thinking. It becomes useful to fill my head with how my actions can be aligned with principles right now, in this moment. What can I do? And this is the question I ask myself. What am I doing right now? What am I doing today that is good, that is honest, that is selfless? That is, what am I doing for other people today? If I can answer those questions and feel good about those answers, I can go through life and not have to wonder or think about what other people are judging me as or making me out to be. It was funny because the truth for me ended up being that all along, people weren't thinking anything of me, good or bad. I'd get into situations where I'd have conversations with people where they may have said they didn't like me, but it didn't matter as much because I knew that I was a good person, you see, and that's what I'm suggesting, and that's what I'm inviting everyone to do, is instead of asking ourselves and worrying about what people think about us, instead we can fill our minds with those good things, those questions of how do we help people? What can we do today? And I was talking with one of my friends, and they were telling me that, what kind of questions do you ask yourself as you go through life? What is the question you ask yourself most often? Because this says a lot about who we are as people. And if I'm asking myself, what are they thinking about me? Is that as helpful and as useful as how can I help other people? I've really started to be mindful of the questions I'm asking myself. Because once again, it gives us a lot of insight into what we're thinking. And that's another very interesting topic, is we're not always mindful of the way that we're thinking. And if we believe that the way we think corresponds and directly reflects the way we act, then we can focus on the way we're thinking as a means of changing the way we act. These tools can be useful, and I can tell you they're much more useful than thinking about what others think about us, because even if we knew, that wouldn't change anything. At least it wouldn't change as much as knowing whatever we're doing is helping. Whatever we're doing is adding to the world, contributing to the world. It takes a little bit of time and it takes some effort, but the reward we get from not having to worry about how the world sees us and finding value in the way we see ourselves, those are two totally different lives. The life of concerning myself mostly with what people think about me is a life I never want to go back to. There is nothing constructive about it. On the flip side, the life I'm living now is seeing myself as somebody that can help people, and knowing that that's the best version of me is the life I want to live. It's the life I want others to live, because I know what it's like to be in that mindset. And as I said before, I never want to go back. So for this week, I invite everybody to focus and to think about how we're adding to the world, and to measure ourselves up to that, and to realize that we're as good as our gifts to the world. We're as good as what we give to the world. I guarantee if we're focusing on that over what others think about us, we will be more happy. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.